She was invited.
I was so
I'm sure.
yes, but
100%.
yeah, but no, I learned something really cool yesterday. I'm gonna share it. It's a little not a lead generating thing, but it'll be close.
We have 7 people on the call,
Okay.
so usually on the first 5 minutes, but if you want to start now, then you can go.
Okay, thank you. I think okay. And the other piece too is, and hopefully this all works out fine because I know that Zoom eats my battery, even though it's a brand new computer.
Do you want me to plug in the batteries or no?
Do you have this cover, this guy?
It's a Mac, right?
Mhm.
Yes, we have it. I should.
Sure, maybe have it close by. I just the other day I was on a Zoom, like a 5-hour Zoom call, and it ate everything in like 2
I'll
hours.
prepare
and
that
shot.
charging system.
It's better than having to jump up in 2 hours and scramble.
Yeah, exactly. Just have it available. And so if I go, so we're, so this, do I have to put sound on my computer here or?
It's already set up.
Okay, so everyone can hear all the things I've already been saying. Okay, great. All right.
Say hello. Confirm.
Hello, and just to confirm, can everyone hear me? David, can you hear me? So now I see your face.
Oh,
But I can hear you.
Or just thumbs up.
I
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, great. How are you?
Good, you?
Good, thank you. Are you in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm just up on Woodbine and Danforth.
All right, amazing. Yay, Miriam's here. Okay, there's no bunch of people here. Okay, so talking about a shift, I thought this class was going to be only in person. So I prepared and brought treats and food, and my intention absolutely was to do this class only in person, but we're shifting. Carlos said,
I can be there in 15 minutes.
it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. There's food here, so if you want. But this is all part of a shift, right? Sometimes you just have to go with what you got. We've got some people here in the room, which is amazing, and then some people online. So a couple things. One is I do Zoom calls or Google Meets all the time with my coach and my team. And my coach always asks gently, and if people would turn on their screen. I'd really love that if you guys really turn on your screen. If you're driving or you're, I don't know, in the bathroom, maybe don't. And you can add it in the chat. Is there chat? Is this chat somewhere? You can add in the chat that you cannot, but otherwise, I'd love it if you can. And if you, and then I also may just call out on you to, hey, Nancy. Hi. And I may just ask, and then if you're not there and you're not, whatever, it might be a little awkward. All right, so to get going, we've got a few people here in the room, which is amazing. I'm so happy to see people in person. I am Suzanne Lewis, and if I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person yet, I just want to share a quick little thing about me. I've been in real estate for about 13 years. It's easy for me to remember because I was like super big and pregnant with my second child, my son. When I wrote my final exams, they were worried that I was going to give birth right then and there, which I did not. And so it's always easy for me to remember how long I've been in the business for because based on his age. I joined Keller Williams as the brokerage from the very start. It was I actually didn't even understand real estate whatsoever at the very beginning. I remember actually going home to my husband and saying, "You want me to join her?" They want me, and then I kind of was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of all coming together for me." Even back then, when I went to kind of connect with other teams, which is what I wanted to do, I wanted to join a team. Because I just thought, oh, this is great. I'll join a team and I'll learn along the way. That makes most sense to me. I remember one of the bigger teams, in my mind anyway, kind of said, do you want to be a buyer agent or do you want to be a seller agent? I didn't even know what that meant. So, there's a lot that has been learned along the way, but I did end up joining Keller Williams after interviewing with all the brokerages because I thought they were the most sort of progressive, kind of cool. It felt like a young bot, felt like a bot. So I was really, really excited to join the office. I immersed myself in as many courses as possible, which was great to have access to. There were a lot of amazing agents who were doing high production at that time here in the office. I've been here a while, so some of them have now sort of retired. But I just kind of hung myself to them as much as possible, and in my mind just sort of, stayed close to the sun, I guess you could say. So it's great that everyone's here joining us. And yeah, I've never facilitated this course, this shift before. Lots of the other courses. Just a little reminder that I am a facilitator of this course. I'm not a teacher of it. I'm in it with you guys as well. We're also in the shift. But I have seen these kinds of shifts happen before in real estate, but in other parts of different kinds of. I used to be in marketing. I used to be in advertising, so I've seen this happen before, where the economy is taking a bit of a shift. And I'd love to share with you what I have in terms of knowledge and experience. And I would like this time together to be as interactive as possible. From what I understand from Carlos, Barb was facilitating the last class to be more of like a mastermind, right? Which I kind of love. I love sharing ideas together. That's why I love everyone being here right now, and I love everyone on screen. So I'm really asking you guys to just sort of jump in and ask some questions. I would like to, just because we're here in the office, maybe just kind of go around to people who are here, and if anyone else wants to join in. And Carlos, when someone chats in the chat, where do they chat on my screen here?
We didn't set it up since it's too small.
Oh, okay.
You can see
Okay.
here.
I see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if anyone has a chat they want to add in. Jen, how long have you been in real estate for?
Well, I think I've been in 13 years.
Yeah, I think we kind of
We kind of all are like, it's interesting because I came from sort of a film company. So, and you came in from like a creative background as well.
Yeah.
And I found that KW was just kind of cool and hip. The others were, I don't know, just stale and boring. And yeah, that's what kind of perked my attention for here. And I've only ever been here. So,
Right. Yeah. I think the one thing, the one thing that I also drew me to is like there really was this encouragement of just you do your own thing.
yeah.
Right? Like you can, what I love, I would consider myself to be a marketer who's expressing myself for real estate. As that's kind of how I see myself.
Yeah.
And I know that they were kind of like, hey, you can, you obviously have to follow the rules and have, but you can have your own colors, you can have your own things, you can have your own style, your own brand.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really fun. Rita. Nothing higher. But maybe share like a little bit how long you've been in the business for.
I've had my license about 16 years, but it's been parked, and now I'm going for it full time. And so I'm signing up now with Keller Williams.
Awesome.
Yeah, I too interviewed a bunch of places, and it seemed pretty. It didn't have the same culture as KW does, and especially this office. And coming to some of the Ignite sessions really showed I could see more of the culture,
Right.
just being a fly in the wall kind of thing. So
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. Well,
Thanks.
Rocco? What we can hear. Can everyone hear okay? Just yeah, I see David nodding, so okay. Rocco?
So I've been in business for 23 years, more than 25 years.
Okay.
But I've been in real estate for 6 years at the time.
So you've seen some shifts.
A lot.
You've seen several.
Yeah. So, you're visiting houses that this is the only company that I met people that the buyer, the seller talk good about.
Huh.
That's how I found out about this. And the more research, more I'm calling up so many people, I think that's the best company I've got experience with.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Hi,
Hi,
so what's your name?
Leila.
Leila.
Kandil.
Okay, hi, nice to see you. We're just kind of going around quickly and just sharing a little bit about how long you've been in real estate for. Your name and how long you've been in real estate for.
I started last year,
Okay,
so just over a year.
okay. And people are asking just because like Toronto said, like he's already been through a shift. We've kind of been through a
Nothing
shift.
like, yeah, yeah,
Not
nothing
like
like
this exactly,
Mhm.
but you know, like there's obviously been changes, like obviously the beginning of COVID. That wasn't a shift, that was like a complete like catatonic moment where no one was doing anything. But we had to change,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We had to adjust to what was going on and it was really quick and it was really a scary time, you know, like we had about 6 listings were in the process of launching and it just was like, oh, yeah, like now what? Of course, clients are calling me going, now what? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's going to be interesting for newer agents to get into the market now because they're going to have to work that much harder than I think a lot of people did in the past, which is good, right? Because you're going to start off with some good habits to begin with. You won't know what it was like to, you know,
Be on Easy Street.
it was easier. It was easier. There's no doubt about it. Sounds good. It's good. Obi?
So I've been full-time since 2012. I think we got the shift in 2017, actually.
Yeah.
When I was working only with buyers prior to that date and had 9 months with zero income. Just
Right.
losing bidding after bidding after bidding. I was like completely strategically working with buyers in a very aggressive seller market. It's just,
Right.
and
Be good to have
So
all those
it's still
buyers
big.
back right now.
so then I tried, that's why I tried to go heavier with sellers. And then 2016 I meant, and 2017, my buyers met the market corrected. So I prefer a moderate market so I can have more time to do our job. I don't like a very, very aggressive seller market where sellers think, oh, houses sell by themselves, agents or whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking so much over the years about how we can service sellers, and now we need to make a little bit of a shift to talk about how we service buyers, how we find buyers. And essentially the root of all things is just to cultivate relationships. So today we're going to be talking about 2 sessions: do more with less, and a little bit of leverage, and then find the motivated lead generating, which actually these are 2 things I'm pretty passionate about, because we're always, I do run a very small and quite mighty team. We have Laura, who is our full-time marketing manager, and then Nicole, who is our full-time realtor, buying and selling real estate. And we're always, Laura and I are once a week talking about like, do we need this? Let's cut this back. Looking at our P&L on the regular, our profit and loss statement, to talk about, you know, what we could do more with less. So that's where we're going to be starting. Where did we go? Did we go from? Oh, I think this is number 4, Carlos. We have to start with number 3. Never mind.
Strategy.
Do more with less. Yeah.
My fault, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Does anyone here, I think nobody here in this room, does anyone here online have a team or work with a team?
No.
Nobody in the room does. Is it no? Okay, so I would say that honestly, this section is a lot about leveraging and figuring out people in your team of how you can best get them to be as profitable as possible. So maybe we're kind of going to go over that very quickly, but maybe we could talk a little bit about how we can, and essentially this part of the course is about, you know, you got your expenses, how can you claw back on your expenses, and how you can leverage other people to help you with that. Does anyone have issues with that right now, like how they can pull back on their expenses? Is that something that is, I think, in your mind right now? I think unless somebody's been in the business for a long time, hopefully you don't have many expenses. Ideally, you lead with revenue. So if you're just starting out, like I imagine you don't have many expenses right now.
So, I know lots of agents, they will do some marketing. They will buy things like magnets and things like that in order to just like remind themselves to their prospects, and when they do lead generation, it's helpful. I was planning to do that actually, but because of the market, because I don't make money, so I just decided not to do it.
Right.
I don't know if that's can be an example of like.
It is an example, and it's a good example, and I've got thoughts around that as well. And I don't know if maybe Barb talked about that in her session about farming. But I feel because I have a background is in marketing, people take action based on frequency and repetition. The number used to be at least 8 impressions. It's probably way more now because we're so inundated with so many things. I wouldn't be surprised if the number is probably close to 20 impressions before they actually even notice you. So, having a magnet once without any follow-up, without any further impressions, without any, to me, is just a waste of your money for sure. Unless you are committed to a marketing plan and a farming plan that has follow-up with specific like phone calls, door knocks, magnets, something value, calling it, like unless you're going to constantly do that, if you wanted to do something like that in a farm area, if you wanted to work on your street and your street was 100 houses, you could maybe make 100 magnets with an actual marketing plan that hits these people, 20, 30 times a year. But if you're not planning on doing that, then it's absolutely just a waste of money. Never mind that most people have stainless steel fridges that magnets don't fit on anymore. So that, most people don't put them up anymore, right? So, but I can come up with some other ideas for you that are free, that are or very cost effective, if that's what you wanted to do. But again, marketing is going to be frequency and repetition, and how many times you're going to hit that one person. One time is almost exclusively never going to work. Does anyone have anything to add to what I just mentioned? While Carlos, we're going to work today with the A and the N. That's not on the. Oh no, never mind. Does anyone have anything to add to what I just shared about, say, spending money on a piece of collateral?
I'll spend money on the people that I already know, but I will not spend money on strangers right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point. Absolutely. I think spending money to cultivate relationships and to solidify relationships is always money that's going to be well spent. So for an example, again, I'm going to share all these things with you today, and I'd love this to be, like as I said, more of a mastermind share, especially while Carlos is working on that. We have, Thanksgiving is coming up. We give out pie.
Oh, that's cool.
Sorry. Oh, shoot.
I'm afraid to say anything.
Where's David? I need you to nod. Nancy, can you hear me? Great. So we give out pies Thanksgiving. We've sort of shopped around. We found the best pie for the most economical. And we have like a little card. We tie our little card to. We have our little picture of our team on it. We say we're thankful for our clients. We have we do now. Laura wants us to handwrite little cards, like little notes, like thank you for your business, or thank you for being in our whatever we're gonna write. My handwriting's terrible. Should have been a doctor. And then we're going to hand deliver them. So we have about 25, 30. We'll give them to past clients, we'll give them to current clients, we'll give them to maybe clients that we're currently building relationships with. It's amazing because almost everybody, of course, turns around and says thank you. Maybe they'll even post it on social media, tag you on it, enjoy this pie, etc. So I think that's a good point, Obi, is to spend money and efforts, especially right now, on people who you already know. But if you're brand new and you're trying to find people you know, and you don't know many people yet, you need to kind of then, in my opinion, if you're going to start like farming and working in a neighborhood, I would pick a small little pocket for now and really figure out how you're going to be able to connect with them on the regular.
How many homes when you said small little pocket?
Well, it partially depends on your budget, and partially is going to depend on the data that you pull from that information. So if you're on a street or 2 streets or 3 streets that you can see that there's been no transactions for the last 3 years, barely anyone leaves, I would probably avoid those streets. But if you're on a street where, like in East York, for example, there especially was a time where all those bungalows were being topped up and they were like changing and evolving quite quickly. That would have been a great area to work on. And, you know, I would probably start a little bit small, like maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 streets, and then work out a marketing plan. And, you know, like, okay, every January, 15th and April 15th and May 15th and September 15th, and door knock those 3 or 5 streets. And you bring them something of value, whether or not it is CMA of the neighborhood. Another thing that, I used to do, which I encourage people to do too, there's always things happening in your community that you can, and I started off doing this. There's a Dusk Dances, which was this free event happening in the area that I work in. I originally reached out to them and said, hey, I see that you deliver cards throughout the neighborhood 2 weeks before this event happens. If you like, you can send me 1,000 of them. I'll deliver them on your behalf. And then that way I kind of went to the door and said, hey, my name's Suzanne, I'm a real estate agent in your neighborhood. I'm a community connector. I wanted to introduce myself and say hello, meet with you, and let you know about Dusk Dances, which is going to be in the park 2 weeks from now. So I gave them something, and then maybe I put like a sticker of my name on it or on that card. But I didn't have to pay for it. I didn't have to pay for the printing of the card. It was already there. I could just deliver it. And I was offering something value to them. So maybe there's a coffee shop close to you that's doing an event, or there's something that's happening in your area that you can let people know about. You seem like you really know about the area and you give them something of value. Hopefully we're back on Do More with Less. Sorry, everyone. All right. Do more with less. The challenge of the shift is that in order to do more with less, you must make sure the less can do more. So this is again talking about more the people in your, either on your team or in your community, or how they can help you do more, right? So home inspectors, the people who actually facilitate your business, right? There's a lot of people, there's photographers, there's all the people who are close to you who help to facilitate your business. The definition of leverage is using something to a maximum advantage, as in the business needs to leverage its key resources. All right, let's identify the 6 core competencies of business and assess yourself and the people on your current team, or evaluate the effectiveness of your systems and tools. So again, for me, when I think about this, I look at it a little differently. Like I will sit down with Laura and we'll say, okay, listen, we have this program, this system, these tools that we use to stay in touch with our clients, our CRMs, our MailChimps, our, we have a bunch of other different things that we include. Are these working? Are they working to our best level? Or another way that we can make them work better for us. Get real. Your mindset shifts. When we're no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Well, that's true. For sure, right? Does anyone have anything to add to that? which I think is a really like, again, I feel like everyone's talking about a shift. It's the market. It's the market. It's the market. It's the reason why things aren't happening. It's the reason why people aren't buying. It's the reason. Oh, are you talking? Your mic is off? Is that me?
No, they can hear you.
Oh, someone just said, "Are you talking? Your mic is off."
Let them,
They can hear you.
let them talk, see if they can respond.
You guys can hear me, or is this just not interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Someone just wrote, "Are you talking? Your mic is off." I'm like, that's a lot to read.
There's a few cameras. Your audio is coming in from the training room, and then your face, they think you're muted. So anyway, you're not muted. They can hear you.
Okay, good. So everyone's talking about it's the market. It's the market. It's the reason why things aren't happening. It's the market. And some people will, okay, just one second. Some people will say, it's what we need to do different things in the market, right? And that's what actually comes in session number 4, but it's you need to find different people, right? It was so much easier to work with your sellers, and sellers would attract all the buyers. But now we just need to make a shift and a mindset shift and kind of go, yeah, in part, the market is stressful and is a bit more challenging right now. And a lot of people are a little bit like sort of sitting and waiting. But I would encourage everybody here right now to just stay the course and keep doing what you're doing, keep making your calls, keep adding to your database, keep nurturing your clients, because all these people will come. And there will always be people who are more motivated than other people. Yes. Ashraf, how?
Yeah,
Yes.
I like this, and I can look into it that when we see the situation is a kind of a challenge, it's a kind of looking into the problem. But if we start looking to ourselves, how we can make it happen, the situation will be resolved by itself. So it's a more of focusing on our skills, our keep going what we're doing professionally, and whatever change, it will be resolved over the time.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned earlier, I used to be in a magazine. That was when we had the last sort of recession. And I remember having a conversation with my publisher at the time. And basically he was like, yeah, Suzanne, we're going to be cutting back some of your commission structure. And you're going to be doing these 5 extra things. And this is just the way it's going. Because we need to actually, we are not seeing being as profitable as we used to be, and this is what we need to do to get through this push shift, right? So the things that we need to do, we cannot do the exact same thing as we used to do, otherwise we're not going to get the same results. Okay, so we're going to focus on the 3 L's, which is going to be listings, leverage, and leads. And keeping in mind, I know that this session definitely talks, and the next one talk a little bit about buyers. Obviously listings right now, listings are always great to have because they are what you can use to market to get more buyers, right? So it's always great to have listings, even though it's more challenging now to sell these listings. But for me, for example, like we invest a ton into our listings, and that is something that we're talking about of how we can still provide the same basic service, but it being costing less for us for as a business expense. Move from E to P is from the entrepreneurial approach to the purposeful approach. I mean, I think that this is more like, yeah, let's try this, let's try that. We're gonna see how that's gonna go. To your point, it could be like, yeah, but things are a little bit more, lots of people are buying and selling. Maybe you want to add 20 streets to your brand new farm area and see how it goes. But now the market has gone to a bit of a shift and you want to be a little bit more purposeful of where you're going to do. And if you're going to spend any money, there needs to be a plan associated with it. Right?
I told my buyers, like in this regard, we're going to see those 5 homes today. They were saying, oh, and we're so excited we're going to see those 5 homes today, right? Saying, no, we're actually going to buy a home today. And they're shocked. I forced them to, we're going to buy a home today. We're not going to see more homes today. We are going to buy a home today. And they bought the first one we saw.
Oh, good.
After
Good.
showing
Well, let's
me-
get to plant the
So
seed in their head right.
From
Yeah.
E to P.
Exactly.
No more seeing homes. We're buying homes.
Yeah, into the vibe. Well, it's funny because in the Tackle Tuesday yesterday, 2 days ago, I had said, which I think is absolutely true. Like I come from this from an honest place. That I was looking to buy. We were looking to buy a cottage. This is like a share a little story. Looking to buy a cottage for the last 10 years. And the market, as I've seen, there's come up, and like I'm a buyer too, right? Come up and come down, and I'm a buyer, and I'm kind of like, when am I going to find the one? What's it going to look like? How's it going to be? And obviously, when rates were really low, it was very interesting to me. Now the rates are really high. It's a little bit more, I'm a little bit more nervous about doing that. And there were some cottages that we were looking at that were priced too high, and then we wanted to go see it, but we didn't. And then the price came down dramatically. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be the one because it's now in the price range I'm interested in. And it sold they ended up having 2 offers right away because probably 2 people had already seen it. And we hadn't seen it yet. So we couldn't offer firm, right? Because we actually had not seen the property and it sold firm to somebody else. And for me, the point was I should have taken the time to go see it when it was in the higher price. It's more challenging when it's cottage country. But when you're in Toronto, it's like take your buyers to go see properties, even though it might be a little bit out of their price range for now, right? Because we're seeing every single day, I'm sure you are, every single day, relists, and you want to be at the front of that opportunity as opposed to in the back, like almost was, to be honest. And then you can be the first person at the table when it does have this price drop because you already had put all your ducks in a row. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to connect more with your clients, right? So 6 core competencies of a business: lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. And this is pretty obvious. I wanted to share with everybody who's on this call today, try to remind me, I went to a great session yesterday with a great tip of how to convert, which I think for most people, actually I'd be curious to know, in this room right now or anyone online, of these 3 things, which do you find most challenging? Lead generating, capturing, which I think is sort of the same. Lead generating or converting?
Converting.
Converting, right?
Converting.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Probably lead generation.
Yeah, it's harder for you.
Conversion, like, I don't
Easier.
know. I'm feeling,
You're just like,
I'm feeling
what are you
confident.
thinking over?
I got a wire name at the beach.
Well, yeah, that's your kind of crew. Like you kind of go out there, you meet people, and people like, yeah, people are attracted to you,
Yeah.
then you're golden. Anyone else? Anyone like David? What does this mean? Process notification. Oh, I guess this is coming from my computer. My computer's asking me if your mic's off. Are you actually? David, did you say you're finding it harder to convert or
I would say convert. I say all the lead gen I do right now. In the last 4 months, I've been doing seller leads pay per click. I think I've got about 70 so far. I have given about 15 to 20 evaluations. I've seen 2 people out of that. And now am I like starting to follow up with them again, like as it goes. But it's trying to get like belly to belly with people or like face to face, because I know that once I can get in the door, my chances of listing that place or having an actual relationship with them greatly increases. But
Right.
until you get to that point, like if I can't get past that phone call or that email or anything else, it's kind of they kind of fizzle after a while, right? Because
So if you don't mind me asking, and this is we're going to off topic and we'll get back to it, but so they raise their hand to you and say, yeah, we are thinking about selling, and then you have a phone call and a conversation, and maybe I'm assuming you don't give too much away at that point, maybe you do, I don't know. But then when you suggest to actually meet with them in person, what kind of objections do they come up with?
at that point, it's usually, well, I'm not, or let's talk later, or let me ask my husband, or my wife, or I just want to get a rough idea, which I'm cool giving you a rough, but I always say, like, it is so rough that there's almost no point in me doing it. Like I really need to physically see what you're doing so I can give you some suggestions of how to improve your property. If you're thinking of selling in the next year, 6 months, 2 years, and you're already planning renovations, well, let's get the right renovations in so that you can enjoy them a bit, but then also like you're doing the right renovations for selling, not just for you. And again, it's just, I find that the motivation's not there, and maybe it's just a numbers thing. A lot of them are, some of them are going through divorces, so they already have their peoples. So that's the only new thing I've done this year for that. And then like the deals I've done this year have always been from people I know, right?
No, I think you really hit the nail on the head there with finding people who are most motivated.
Yeah.
Before, when the market hadn't shifted and we were talking about, spring 2 years ago, when it was just like shooting fish in a barrel, sellers were like, oh my gosh, this is the best time to sell because we're getting the craziest amount of money. And buyers were like, this is the greatest time to buy because, it's free money.
They know that they're going to make money no matter what.
Yeah. It's sort of like, and keeping those two things in mind, because now we're dealing with sellers who are like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get $2.5 million for my $1.8 million house. Wait, I don't want to do anything. And buyers are like, yeah, now I don't want to pay $1.8 million and have, whatever, $10,000 mortgage.
Yeah.
It definitely is challenging. So I think to your point, I mean, this is one of the things that they talk about in this section is like, finding people who are making life changes.
Yeah.
I really people who are, I prefer people who are like partnering or getting together or blending families, but there are people who are separating families. So there's those people as well. But yeah, no, all good points. Okay, great. 6 core competencies back of business is present to buyers and sellers to get agreements, show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing, and manage the money. So these are basically saying, okay, getting back to the fact that we're going to try to leverage out some activities in order to peel back on some of our expenses. These are some of the things that the shift book is saying. These are the things that are part of a business, right? All right, so we're going to go through each of these. Power of leverage. We've got people, who will do it, systems, how will it get done, and tools, what will we use to do this thing? And I think, who will do it actually was in some ways the driving for me to actually even get into real estate to begin with. Because again, like I said at the very beginning, is I consider myself to be a marketer, expressing myself through real estate. When I was at the magazine, I had all kinds of ideas like, hey, let's interview a designer and put it on our webpage. And it was like, oh, that sounds like a great idea, but who's going to do that? I mean, this is a long time ago before I was like, let's put on YouTube. But it was always like, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? And it wasn't like I wasn't going to do it. But I think that's something really important. We come up with all these great ideas, but we have to kind of figure out who is going to do the work, and does that make sense financially for that person to be doing that amount of work. I'll give you, for example, like I have, as I said, a full-time marketing person. There are some things that, I could ask her to do, but, I pay her, and I'm like, I don't want her spending her time doing things that don't financially make sense for that, especially now when I need her to be fully engaged and doing activities that are going to bring the business money.
Suzanne, on that note, do you find now with the shifting market that you're depending more on your marketing person? Are they pushing through?
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't want to, absolutely, and I don't want to get too far off of here, but there are some things that I just find absolutely. The one thing I would say right now about saving money and connecting with people is, it fascinates me because social media is free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. Like the fact that we have Instagram or, Facebook, and those are the two that we mainly utilize, they are free. Yes, there's Facebook advertising, and that is not free. But just building up some connection through social media. I mean, I can even see it right now. Like, for example, we've got this course here, and I don't know how many people are, I guess, whatever, 16 people, maybe 14 people, whatever, on them. Like, we could be here in person, but, you know, for different reasons, different reasons, of course, you know, we have an opportunity to be online. So some people are online. I mean, people are just online all the time. We have a very specific marketing plan that I can share with you as well, that I've learned through my coaches about building relationships online and creating, you know, like, and trust feelings with people who we don't even know. And we get phone calls all the time of people who are like, hey, can you come talk to us about this, that, the other thing? And they know me. They know me. They know us. They know Nicole. They know our team. They know what we do. They know our vibe. They know our energy. And I've never met them in my life. So I feel like, you know, there's so much opportunity in marketing right now. It doesn't have to be hardcore collateral that you pay, you know, like pieces of paper for, or magnets, or swag, or any of those things. There's so much that, you know, we can do online right now, for example, you know, and I just, you know, finding ways to connect with other people, to do other kinds of marketing and contacts with other people, other businesses. We could get more into that into maybe when we go into the Find and Motivated. But I feel like there's a huge advantage right now for agents who have systems, a CRM, right? Content management, you know, an asset, and who have a plan in place, who have social media, and who have contacts who they market to on the regular. Because I promise you, everybody I think most people who are on this call right now are relatively new. Let me tell you that a lot of agents who have been dominating the market for the last 20 years have none of those things. And this is your opportunity to go in there and to take that business, because they have just basically been winging it for 20 years without any plan. They have been, you know, there were a lot less agents when they first started. They built up amazing relationships with their clients, which is great. But the reality is, if you're a seller right now, you should want to work with agents who have a ton of contacts and ability to reach a ton of people instantaneously. You know, because MLS is one of, you know, dozens of ways to reach people. And it's not enough to kind of go, yeah, I don't have a website. I don't have any marketing. I don't connect with anyone. No one connects with us, or, you know. So, yeah, I think that marketing right now is the most important thing you possibly have. I don't want to comment on that. Like, maybe someone has no, I don't agree with that. I'd love to hear what anyone has to say.
Oh, I always have something to say.
Yeah.
I tried Facebook for 4 years. I never had Instagram. I realized the amount of hours you actually put into social media, unless you have an admin assistant that you pay $15 an hour, and energy sucks from your brain. It's actually counterproductive.
What were you posting on Facebook?
What was posting?
Yeah, like, what were you posting? What was your cadence? What was your plan? What was your
So
strategy?
one in 4 posts was about business, was about just listed open houses, another record-breaking sale. It just boosted my image across some people. Some of my circle had Facebook, not too many, let's say a third or whatever. Been positioning me myself, but never received anything. And even the algorithm of putting ads on Facebook was so much time consuming and so broken and incompetent by Facebook. It was a complete waste of time. I'm talking, maybe I started a bit too early. Maybe it's better now. I don't know. But I rather call up a friend and meet with them in person, or go do an activity together and build that connection. And then those guys say, I'll never buy or sell with anybody else.
100%. And there, for sure, there's going to be all different kinds of ways to be able to make contacts. And I think Obi's way is his way, and works great for him. To me, I'm a bit of an extrovert, but I'm mainly an introvert. The idea of going to sit down for lunch with somebody and then asking them for business or hoping that they give me business is not my way at all. It wouldn't work for me. And I also want to work a lot faster than that. So it's the one to many that you have in social media as opposed to the one-on-one. But there are, again, many different ways to build a business for sure. And again, I would say, like I have had coaching and training around social media specifically, and there is a plan and a strategy and a psychological strategy around posting. So Ovi, I would say with all due respect, like that is not the way that you use social media to actually connect with people, because people posting just sold. No one gives a shit about that. No one cares. They want to know, do I want to work with you? Right? So they don't care that you just sold a house. They don't care that you just listed a house. It's a very empty thing. Keeping in mind, social media is social media. It's supposed to be social. I would just say to that. David.
Yeah, no, I'd say I've tried this year to do a lot more. I took about a year and a half off social media entirely during COVID. And I don't think I agree with Ovi. I don't think social media is a good thing, but that's a whole philosophical debate we're not going to get into. But I think redoing it this year, I pulled a lot of leads from it. I can't say I think I've done one deal from it. And right now I said I'm only focused on, for like my pay-per-click is seller leads, not buyer leads, not tenants, just sellers. That's all I wanted to focus on, because I wanted to have one clear path of, if I did this for 6 months and it's going to cost me $1,000 a month in pay-per-click, at the end of 6 months, is there going to be just a funnel of people that might be converted in the next 18 to 24 months? Because some of them are not ready now, but they're ready, like they're just kind of soft right now. If I can get in front of those people, what's my closing ratio going to be? I'm curious about that. And especially as a tougher market, it is like some of them have over renovated their houses. They got really poor advice of what to do. And so I just give them a really honest opinion. And for posting, I only post on Instagram almost nothing about, it's always purposeful about real estate, but it's always live, it's always on Reels, it's always instant, and it's messy. But at least I'm going to give like my 2 cents on something, and it's not going to be, and I have another company that does like those pretty boring, like, would you like this or that? Like, would you like a bungalow or a 2-story? Or do you like this kitchen counter? Those are kind of, I call them fillers. They go in between the other posts just to fill up my Instagram for now, which costs like $75 a month to do. But I'm probably going to pull that off, because I don't think it's worthwhile.
Well, and that goes back to the shift, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm spending $75 a month plus $1,000 a month, right? For your pay-per-click, which is a lot. What this chapter is meant to talk to us about is like, yeah, we're spending this money. Are we getting the ROI?
Yeah.
Giving them points. I think it's really important that it's not instantaneous, right? So it can't be like, yeah, we tried this for 6 months, it doesn't work, or we tried this for 3 weeks, it doesn't work, or we tried this for it doesn't work. It is definitely again frequency of repetition, and it's building over time. But there are some things that can we live without this one thing right now? Because we are in a shift, and because we have to look at our expenses and our P&L, our profit and loss every month. So yeah, and again, to your point, David, there's a lot of people who do a lot of different things to generate their businesses, social media isn't for everyone. I would just ultimately, I guess, want to point that it's free right now. Unless you're doing ads.
And with the stuff, like whether you're using Facebook ads or whatever, Facebook ads are a little, sometimes a little bit cheaper, sometimes not, depending on what you're looking for. But for me, it's kind of an experiment. Like, is this the time to like throw money out? I don't have it, but I'm still doing it. And it's, but also I don't have the roster of like a social group I don't have a huge social group that are constantly turning over. So the ones that like my friends and family and stuff that I deal with, that I've dealt with from like 10 years ago, still call me. I never chase them. And we'll go have a coffee and we'll chill out and say like, what are your plans? And those ones, they don't respond well to any kind of advertising for real estate at all. Any kind of checkup, any kind of following in, all those words that we don't want to use, or drop buys or pop buys or or whatever they are, they don't respond at all to those. So for me, I leave all of that social circle alone. I've learned that now. And just,
How long have you been in real estate for?
23 years.
Oh gosh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you put some data in that time.
So yeah,
Awesome.
a few things, but I don't know. I'm still here. I don't know.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you for sharing. For sure, that's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna get back to this. It starts with you have a clear vision for your business, gain clarity on your personal efforts, and get the most important things done first. Be cost effective. I think of those things, be cost effective is probably the biggest takeaway here. Well, we can kind of talk a little bit about that. How's I going to move forward, if that's okay, because I feel like we're going to be tight for time. Okay, get right. Your action shift. Your organization must shift. It's time to reassess the people on your team. And again, this team is in quotes because everybody has a team, right? If you're on a team like I am, that's a part of your team. But if you're like Jen, who's a solo agent, I'm part of her team. Right? Like, in fact, we work together. Jen and I like bounced 1,000 ideas off of each other over time. Carlos is also on Jen's team. Carlos is, Jen's. Carlos is looking at me too. Carlos is Jen's tech. Yeah. But like, is there some, everyone, we're all working together, right? So we're all together on the team. And how can we help to support, each other? So I like how like this one. Get leverage with help from others. So yesterday was, I did it. I did this, I did that, I did all these things. Now today it could be the work is divided up. You must now communicate your vision. You now need 2 or more job descriptions. Someone else answers to you. You are a trainee and a trainer. You must create the power of 2 or more. This takes direct effort. Your work environment is now about team effectiveness. It has to work for everyone. Again, this might be a little bit more of like an actual team something with you, but yeah, let's go to that one. Change the way you think of leverage. There are 2 types of people in your business, those directly employed by you and those indirectly employed by you. Does anyone, maybe Rocco, you could say, like, who would you say are 2 people who are indirectly employed by you?
Indirectly?
Yeah.
The buyer?
Yeah.
Buyer.
So if you're a seller, maybe think about if you're a seller who is also indirectly employed by you. If you're working with a seller.
Photographer.
Yeah, exactly. There's like the photographers and the stagers and the home inspectors.
The lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon?
I'm a real estate appraiser.
Appraiser. Yeah, sorry. Appraiser too, right? It is, when you think about it, like our business is like we employ a lot of people. Real estate does, right? And when we're shifting, they're shifting too. So, we need to work symbiotically together. Like, for example, is, generally when the market was really good, when we had stagers and we used stagers a lot, the contract is usually 30 days. 30 days, but hey, the stuff is out before.
Yeah.
We got a preemptive offer in 1 day, take it out, it's gone, right? But now we have to sort of renegotiate our contracts and say, hey, listen, our contract needs to be 45 days, maybe even 60. Mm-hmm. Maybe, maybe there's something, so there's all kinds of things that we need to sort of work with because things are changing and shifting. Who is on my team? 7 steps to talent shifts. Again, I feel like nobody in the room is on a team. Maybe we should just kind of gloss through these a little bit. Carlos, what do you think? You think yes? I can see that. So we're going to go. And these are some of the people who we talked about a little bit before who are also like employed by you, but indirectly, right? So your bookkeeping, accounting, data entry. Is everyone here using, including MLS, or just a sidebar, have a CRM?
Come on.
I use a command.
You use Command. Are you using Command?
Not as much as I should.
What are you using?
I use my own.
And there's not using Command full time.
I know. I need to.
No, honestly, it's nuts. You got the guys.
I know we have so much, and we're already paying for it.
You're already paying for it.
Yeah.
But then it can do so much. And what's the word? Like sidebar. No, I like the sidebar. Like put it in it. I do not use Command. I use another CRM. But it's the same kind of idea.
Mhm.
And part the only reason why I'm not is because my coach uses a different one, so I just work with her. But it can do so much that you don't need to do. Like it'll send out information for you. It'll do follow-ups. Like we have 42 touch point for every lead that comes in. They get touched 42 times in 1 year. That is mainly automated. Like obviously there's calls in there, and it's not like we're complete robots, but it's mainly automated. That is amazing. Command can do the exact same thing, and I'm telling you that's also what I see the downfall with a lot of agents who've been in the business for a really long time. They are completely disorganized. Yeah. And these are all the things that we can really help to support. Rocco, yes.
Oh, it's just that, but say command or no command. I mean, as a tech trainer myself for a couple of years, you have to have CRM. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's even a spreadsheet. I mean, an
So
Excel
don't make it a
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, comparing like a phone book versus a spreadsheet, obviously the spreadsheets.
That's crazy. It's 2023.
I mean, you gotta have a list.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day, like, I think Gary was teaching this course, like, and using like cue card, like what
Index cards.
Index cards.
Yeah.
You know, putting an index card and whatever. I mean, that's great, but I mean, this is no. You guys absolutely just,
Yeah.
it's just,
I know.
you know, and you clear your head of so much because you're like, oh my God, that person, I spoke to them, where's that name? I mean, I used to write down things all the time in my shift book, in my billionaire real estate. I've got my name, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And you know what, to the point of all of this shift market, like most of us, I know I am not as busy as I used to be. So now's the time for people like me to actually spend the time investing in learning a CRM or
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, I used to use like Top Producer, which I found to be so confusing. They're so intuitive now and just so much easier. I feel like it's just, is there anyone online, aside from David, who uses anything but command? Is everyone using a CRM? David's nodding, but everyone else is a blank screen. Miriam, are you there? Are you using a CRM? Olga, are you using a CRM? Oh my God. Alice? Who's using a CRM? Nancy? Anyone? Okay. Well, we'll just continue on. Database administration. Hey, Nancy, are you using a CRM?
So I started setting up Command and I'm so lost in it. And, you know, I was like all excited. I'm going to get a website. I'm like, I don't even think this website's live. I have no idea. I have to actually make an effort to attend some Command training and get that going. It's just, it's time, right? It's like putting the time into it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I can't remember if in this section we do talk about time blocking, which I think time blocking and lead follow-up are the two things that are the biggest downfall for any realtor is the end, right? Like I think that's absolutely. So if you can just say to yourself, hey, you know, next, make the appointment. I guess that also helps you be a bit more accountable. But if you make the appointment with Carlos and just kind of say, you know, and I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but maybe like you can even book a one-on-one or something, whatever, to actually get all those things facilitated and done. It's like going to the gym. You'll feel so happy. You're like, oh, I didn't want to go to the gym. And then you went, you're like, I went. So just book it. And then you're accountable to him because you need to show up for it and just get it done. Because it's so easy. And you just need to do, like, yeah, even if you just do contact card, add the name, right? Maybe you don't like fill out the entire thing all at once because it is confusing. Just add a name to it. That way, at least you don't feel like you've like lost people in the shuffle. Like how many times have we, I know I've done this before too, gone door knocking and then you write their name down on a piece of paper and you have such a great lead and then you put that piece of paper in your pocket and then you like, it's like, what a, that's a waste of time. That's crazy. You know, and that happens. I've definitely been guilty of that before too. I mean, not as bad as somebody who I know told me one time they went door knocking and the person answered the door and said, "Yeah, I wanted to sell," and they went, "Okay, great," and walked away and left. Did you get their name? And they're just like, "Oh," they're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Left." Anyway. Okay, so database administration, appointment scheduling, printing, mailing, pre-listing, marketing, website design and maintenance, website listings, virtual tours, content development, social media. I mean, this is a lot, right? Courier, runner, task, all these things are things that, you know, you could get some help with. And these can also be people who are your subcontractors and your allied resources, right? And what are you going to do with these people? What are you going to do with these people? How are they going to help you? Who's on my team? Part two. So now you have systems. Your systems must shift. Okay, this is exactly what we're just talking about, right? So Nancy, this is also like your systems must shift. You must make this database happen because, yeah, I mean, I'm no expert in this whatsoever, but I did lull myself to sleep 2 days ago, listening to Benjamin Tal. Yeah, right. And listening to Warren Buffett. I like literally love it. But I'm like, okay. And he's basically talking about 2024 in the US and how the market's going to be really, really, really challenging. And of course, what happens in the US ends up happening here to some kind of capacity. I think it's going to be challenging, different. Let's just say different. So how are we going to get through this shift? You have to start with some systems, right? Yeah. Access and upgrade your systems. Everything must be extremely purposeful. Everything must be streamlined. The goal is less red tape and fewer distractions and break things down into basic components. And there's a system for that. There's a system for everything. Financial systems. Is everyone here an accountant?
Yeah.
You do your own accounting?
No.
Not yet? No. Jen, do you do your own accounting?
No, I have someone.
Oh, yeah, good. I mean, it's just whatever. Social media, I have feelings around that. I feel like we shouldn't have that, but filing systems, office communications, lead gen. Obviously, David has some help with his lead gen through the system he works with, servicing buyers. There's systems for all kinds of things. And command is also a system for that too, right? So command can do a lot of that stuff for you, right up front. Okay, and the tools, well, that's like command, right? So command is a great option. What about, does anyone have any other tools that they use for their systems?
So I have a Morris Marketing quarterly newsletter that uses the CRM called Exact.
Right.
Which is good CRM. You put your home, so that's where you have your home address basically. I exported and imported everything in Command. I still use that in parallel with this because they take care of the marketing for me.
And this sort of generates a newsletter for you?
No, it's a company that prints and distributes a newsletter. I just need to maintain that in parallel with this.
I see. How long have you been doing that for?
Sorry?
How long have you been doing that for?
3 years at least.
And how's it working?
I used to send to 100 people. I trimmed it down to 50 people.
Okay.
And it's only quarterly, so I'm not like spamming them every month.
So it's mailed. So
It's mailed.
got it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's like all the agents, million of agents online. People really don't put attention, right?
Yeah.
Everybody trying to schmooze a bit,
It's hard to get people's attention.
Disingenuine, yeah. It's perceived as a disingenuine, yeah.
It is tough, definitely tough. Anyone else out there? Nancy, do you tell us how long you've been in business for?
So I'm in my third year. And when I first started, I was on a team with another brokerage, and I've been with Keller Williams since January.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Well, welcome. Do you use anything else besides Command, which you're going to be using more of Is there anything else that you're using that you're having great success with?
Well, I used an Excel document. I pretty much put things in Excel. And that was when I was working with my team. And then we had a CRM system, which was different. And so right now I just have Command.
Got it. Okay. Anyone else? Jen, do you use anything else?
No,
No,
like,
just-
yeah, my own spreadsheets that are created for different purposes.
yeah,
Mhm,
okay. Well, hi.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you guys are ever interested in all the different tools and things that we use, because we have quite a bit, like we use Discord, right, for communication within our team, which I think is really helpful. We also use MailChimp quite regularly, and that helps to for all of our stats and things. And Laura does a really fantastic job around that. We use something called Airtable, which automates all of our systems. So, for example, we fill out a form that goes directly to Laura when we have listings, and there's populate all the different companies that we need to use for all the, so that it's all put together in a system, so it makes it just really quite easy. Probably Laura knows a lot more of them than I do, because she's the one who creates and works with them, but they do help to make things a lot more, to make the client experience a lot more streamlined, right? So they really love that.
I wanted to share, since it is a shift that we're discussing, during the top 20% mastermind yesterday, a lot of discussion was allotted for ChatGPT and AI.
Right.
And how people need to adapt and use it. I believe 25% of the group yesterday was already in one way or another using it by text, or their secretaries or admins, creating videos, and a lot of tools were shared yesterday. My point is that must be a shift that you're adapting to, right? So the CRM is great, yes. The current tools are great, yes, but you also have to look into what are the things that are that can leverage and make sense to me. Because a lot of them before were using a lot of assistants and admins, but because of ChatGPT, they were able to balance their spreadsheet and save a little, because you don't need as much because the AI can do it for you. And it's a real thing now. I mean, not 2 years ago, this was maybe discussed, but not at that level.
Right.
Yesterday, almost half of them were already using it. So can you imagine a year more, 2 years more?
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
This is a push from people that are making money off that. I think the AI, it's like, even right now, after 20 years of Google, you type something, they're not able, or if you miss the letter, they're not so smart to even understand what they're looking for. It's going to take like hundreds of years to actually make it performant. So it's just a push from the industry that sells those like pay-per-click and all this stuff, because I have friends that work in there to try to get more business and middle class. Now, I don't see results or capability from technology at this time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and listen, fair comments for sure, both, but I can say that, I know at one point, again, my coach said that, some people were like, oh, a cell phone. There's no way. I'm not using a cell phone. There's just I'm not going to do it. It's ridiculous. It's a fad. And here we are, right? I think that there's definitely, you could say that, but I think if everyone else is trying and using new things and it's working, then there's sort of like proof in the results, right? So there will be some people that you'll meet maybe who are like, I just want to meet because I want to meet you down at the beach, hanging out on your bicycle, and we're going to just go for a coffee or a beer. But I don't think that's a scalable business. And I think that's ultimately what we're all ideally, hopefully, I think, maybe looking for. And that's what I'm looking for, is a scalable business that can have repeated results, right? So I can't scale me personally. I can't be me 24. Well, I can't be me 24. I can't do it all myself, right? So the idea is that we want to make and create scalable businesses that you can make a system that somebody else could, be part of and offer the same kind of service. So people don't only want to go for lunch with Ovi, but they're happy to work with Lewis and Company because of specific service that we provide. So I think there's a definition of that
You want to
too.
leverage technology to funnel more stuff your way, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we want to leverage to be able to have, in my opinion, the best client service for client service and result for people that they refer us. How we do use AI, not to this capacity yet, but I was just on ChatGPT today, and it's just just got playing around with even trying to figure out, tell me, try to remember like the exact wording because it's also about asking questions. That's what ChatGPT is for. ChatGPT anyway is about. What are the best subject lines for open rates on emails, right? Like what are the best taglines to use for the best responses on social media? I mean, these are some of the kinds of questions we should be asking because
just there on the social media, sometimes we're like, oh, I don't know what to post on Instagram. Well, you can ask ChatGPT to give you topics and ideas that you can then break it down. Oh, just give me 10 ideas. Okay. And those are the topics. So,
or even trying to figure out what people want to know.
yeah.
Right?
What are they
Because
Googling?
we always, this is hilarious. We always ask other realtors, what do you think our clients want to know? Where I just kind of am like, hey, let's just ask the people.
Yeah.
Instead of other realtors, and we are kind of always want to know, we think what people want to know. Why don't we just ask the consumer? That's another story. So tools. And again, and to Carlos's point is like we are in a shift. So how are we going to use things that are free and or inexpensive to bring our losses our losses down, I guess losses to profit loss.
Sorry, just to add to that,
Yeah.
Chat GPT launched like under professionals, it was like accountants. Now they launched realtors, like a little section.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they were talking about at one of the conferences, that for the luxury sector, they were saying that everyone's using it already.
Right.
For property descriptions, it's amazing
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
can write.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
and
you sit there and you think, oh my God, how can I make this
Oh, yeah.
description amazing
Yeah.
and stand out? And I've seen examples of it, and it's like, wow, that's it's like that, right?
Yeah, no, we've used it several times, and like other agents are calling, oh my God, that write-up is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tool, right? It's not just like, oh, literally take exactly this and add to that. But you kind of gives you a frame, and you can work through that as well.
So how are you using it now, like in your business, like ChatGPT? Is it to like write your emails or?
Who, me?
Yeah, like
To be honest, like, so I came a little bit later, but I have a full-time marketing manager on our team, so she mainly does it.
I was on the call. I just walked in. I'm like that.
So she mainly uses it. I uses it mainly just for that right now. But she's super into. She's always she's ahead of everything. So, I'm sure she's probably working on something else around it, but that's mainly what she's using it for right now. And for some of our copy and stuff that we use for our website and, that kind of brain power right now, right? Because it can be a lot of time. You can easily sit down and spend 2 hours trying to write copy for your website. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'll use ChatGPT. It'll take me 25 minutes. I can spend the time doing something else, right? Which is also part of what we're including here on. There's a tool for that. Okay, so again, this is more about commands, which I again don't know much about, but I can tell you that we've got database, transactions, consumer experience, marketing, calendar, referrals. There's a tool for all those. Assess your tools. Okay, so we've got, well, I think we just talked about this. Oh, and then you in the middle. Power of leverage, people, systems, and tools. Okay, I think, is this the end of this course, this section? Right, ahas. Yeah. I think it's already 12:15. Do you guys online okay with just taking a 5-minute break? Get some water, coffee, good. Great, and then we're gonna go to finding the motivated lead generating.
Ash raises it.
Oh, sorry, Ash, hey.
I'm just want to say okay for the 5 minute break. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you. Awesome, thanks. Let's just take a 5-minute. You guys good? Honeyball?
Who are you calling Honeyball?
Honeyball?
Oh my gosh, you brought empanadas?
Right?
And I think there's one I've done that. In the jump, right? Isn't there?
Yes, yes, there is. Yeah.
So these are all
I
new
have no
changes
idea.
in the past like 2 years.
Because I've only come here.
4 years.
Doug and Julie used to be my old neighbors.
Oh.
And they were here at one of the Ignite sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, they're out of this brokerage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just,
Okay, so.
So how are you
before
setting
we
them
start,
up?
I
It's not
actually
totally
use the same.
Hey, thanks, can we
Yep.
started?
Yep.
Come on, Shelly.
So before we start, just a quick plug, our neighbors, Temple, are running the open house today for, possible clients. You're free to come up there and look for Spinola. So, come and join, and they're offering a free tour around the Temple building. They have 9 offices that are open for lease for possible residents. So if you want to know more, you just walk up there and they'll tour you around what the facilities are. They want to connect with you guys. So, if you have a client that's downsizing, you're an option. So that's why you have signs over there outside.
So it's a retirement house, right?
It's an open house.
For-
So until what time? Like,
I think it's 2 days, today.
okay.
So yeah, but yeah, feel free to get stuff here, if you want to learn more, but.
Yeah, give me one.
Yeah,
I'll put it in my listing presentation. I have a bunch of this.
yeah.
I think the business cards. The contact should be here. No, I don't do business cards.
Yeah, I have a client who's in a chart role who she doesn't like, but looking to move.
So feel free to grab later.
Okay. So
before you
today
guys
and
leave.
tomorrow is the open house?
And tomorrow. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Carlos. Okay, session number 4, it's gonna be lead generating. Hopefully everyone's back online. As much as we have. And you must be more rigorous and resolute in your lead generation than ever before, and more so than anyone else. In fact, now is the time to shift your lead generation activities into the highest gear possible. Okay, so this is why also the CRM is so important, because again, you're probably not going to be going out there and like talking to like 10 people and then they're going to do something. It's really rare that you're going to find somebody like I talked to 10 people today and they're selling tomorrow, so you're going to have to find 10 people and then continually follow up with them, nurture them. You have to find 10 more people, then you can find 10 more people and nurture them, follow up with them. If you get lucky, someone might want to do something right now. There's a lot of people who are like leasing one lease, want to, that's a great way to start, especially when you're first starting. But it is so important to lead generate right now and to find people. I think there's this one, in a high market, it seems like there are plenty of leads to go around. In a shifted market, this is no longer true. Motivated leads are now scarce. You need to find more of them more than ever. So like I said before, but when the market was, I'm just curious about the market right now. So many people are just coming to the market right now. It's fine. It's more balanced than ever. But before, it was just a game. If people were thinking about selling, they're like, now's the time. The market's amazing. I'm getting 1.8 for my $1.5 million house. It was just easier. Some ways people were more delighted with how it was all going about. Now people are a little disappointed, right? If you're a seller, and if you're a buyer, you're just a little bit more picky, right? Because you waited this whole time, and now you're like, I just want what I want, and I want at the price I want, and that's not necessarily what the seller wants. So it is more important now than ever to lead generate. Okay, so we want to task over time, find the motivated, top grade your lead sources, and reach out with consistency and value. We're going to get a little bit into that, of what that means. The cause of the challenge of shift is simply one word: motivation. Now, this was actually, I read all through all this work. I read shift like 1,000 years ago, I felt like. I haven't read it lately. That's what I did the shift. But then I definitely read it, a couple years ago, and then I read it again a little bit here and there. And then, of course, read about it a little bit for facilitating this course. Doing my little highlighting and stuff over the evenings. And I think it's really interesting too. we're really talking about motivation, right? And what the difference is between like being slightly motivated and being heavily motivated. And I think that's our problem right now is we need to find people who are heavily motivated. Now, this book will talk a little bit about these categories of people who are more motivated than others. Let's go through them. Love to hear your thoughts of them. Love to hear how you think is a good way, if it is a good way to market to them. But this is, I think, the logo here. What are motivated leads? They're able, ready, and willing. I guess ready. So these are the 60s to motivated sales. Who needs to buy or sell no matter the market? I guess that's the thing too, no matter the market, right? Death, which, you know, divorce, again, these are not my favorite topics. Dependence, right? So you're having your kids come back or you're having your kids move out. Downsizing, deployment, which is something that we don't really deal with that much here. Dividends, all right, whatever. So, I mean, I think that the reality is that there are a lot of people who bought, most people's mortgages come due every 5 years, approximately, right? Especially if they're going to be like any 3 to 5 years. So anyone who had a mortgage, who set up their mortgage 3 years ago at 1.6, every day they have to be refinanced at the new interest rate, right? At the new mortgage rates, and they're really struggling. So every day there's people who are like, I'm sure we see a lot, especially investors who have a lot of investment properties are on the market right now because it, like I have investment property myself. I mean, our mortgage is almost doubled. It's not great, but you know, we're fortunately in a position where we'll just make it happen and we'll wait because everyone goes up, comes down, you know. But how, you know, how would we, what does everyone think about marketing or reaching out, or how do we find these people who definitely need to do something, right? There's always going to be a buyer and a seller who need to do something. It's our job to be the best agent out there and advocate for them to help support them along the journey of what they need to do. I just feel like some of these things are not very pleasant. You know, and with death and with divorce, there's also birth and there's also partnering. So there are people who are changing their homes as well, who you know, are planning families, who are getting into partnerships and they need a bigger house. We've had a lot of clients actually in the last 6 months who have been like doing that moving up. They're not downsizing, they're upsizing, but they're moving up from like a condo to a house. Because they're seeing some great opportunities in houses. Their condos will be selling as well as they hope to, but this is now a great opportunity. And the delta between selling lower and buying lower is better for them. If anyone has anything you want to say to jump in there, let me know. Find your Ds. Anyone think of those people, the motivated people. Who are the most motivated people right now?
Refinancing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Are you experiencing that a little bit right now with your clients?
Too much. Every day I see people like that in trouble.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because it's actually hard. It's a hard topic. It's kind of like, you know.
It's sad. You know, people have families, they have to remortgage their houses and their houses are not as valued as they once were like a couple of years ago, and they're in trouble.
Are these people with like B lenders or are they?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, because I feel like the people who are in the private lending sector.
That's one reason why I became a real estate agent, is those people are such misled when they bought their houses. And I keep telling them, that they complain to me, I said, well, go speak to your real estate agent, go sue him, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, can everyone online, if you're online, but maybe not on screen, can you at least do like a thumbs up with your thumbs up so I can, or whatever it's called, yeah, thumbs up, just so I know who's here, if anyone's here, because otherwise we could talk to people who are here. David's obviously here. I see David. Is anyone else?
They all went to the bathroom.
It's just me. It's just me.
All right. No, let's talk to everybody. I mean, did you hear what Rocco said? No, you didn't hear him?
No, I didn't hear him. No.
Yeah, so we're just talking about, so Rocco was just saying he's in an unfortunate circumstance where he has a lot of clients who have been financed through like B lenders, private lending, who are in a position where they absolutely have to move because they can absolutely not afford what they have. And it's really sad. I really, I feel like that's another reason why it's great for us to be here, to be people who do provide the proper and right support, and we do the right thing at Keller Williams, obviously, and we all focus on, a win-win and making sure, and giving everyone the best advice possible. But that's just like really stressful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of, at least not a lot, but I would say out of the maybe 50 or 60 pay-per-clicks people have called me, a lot of them are calling because they are going through refinancing now, and it's a possibility that they would have to sell. They may not want to, but they may have to, right? So out of those 10, there's probably 2 out of those where like they do have to sell. Some have agents, some don't. But that I agree. I think there's a lot of that coming up, and I think this next year you'll see a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
think we're going to see a lot more in the next couple of years, right?
Yeah. I think people who took that 2 or 3 year mortgage to see where the market would land are now going to have to pay the piper at some point.
Yeah, no, that is a really, and to me, to be perfectly honest, I think marketing to those, that's not within my nature. I wouldn't, I know maybe there's somebody out there who would be like, yeah, but you are offering a service and helping them. I think that would be very difficult for me to do personally, but I think but they need help, right? They definitely need help, but I think who can navigate, somebody who really truly understands, would be a great service to be able to help with that, which is good. Okay, you don't get to decide what the market will do, but you definitely get to decide what you will do. And I think that was what we said before earlier. It was we can't say it's all about the market. It has to be something that we do differently. And what are we going to do differently? We're going to cut back on our expenses. We're going to lean on other people to help us do things that we can't only do ourselves. So we've got extra time to do the things that we need to do, like lead generating, right? So from section 3 to section 4. And we are going to stay focused, stay the course. Remember that real estate doesn't have to be 12 months, right? Maybe 2023 wasn't your best year, or maybe it was. I mean, it's been, a pretty good year. I think the beginning of the year was really great for a lot of people. Maybe the third and fourth quarter of 2020 is your best, but maybe, you look at the year between January 2023 to September 2024. That's your full cycle that you're looking at. So you just need to focus and not panic and continue to do the things that have been working for you, keeping in mind your profit and losses at 5-year lease. Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. Connect with people through prospecting and marketing. And once you meet your new leads, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database. Yay. And stay in touch with them forever. My joke has always been hey, you just keep calling that person until somebody's died or they tell you that. Right? So it's kind of you just keep going, right? And in a nice way. I said in a nice way. I can tell you as an example, there's a guy who does my window cleaning, Martin, and he calls me 17 times, texts me, calling me, whatever. I want him to do my windows. I don't want to call him back. Yeah. Because I know he will call me again. Yeah. And when he calls me, I'm yeah, you can book this day for me, whatever. But I was it's kind of off. It's different. It's obviously we're not doing window cleaning, we're doing a big transaction. But people do kind of expect you to call sometimes. They're kind of waiting for your call. When you don't call, they're where's that person? Legit. So real estate. Yeah. It's
your window cleaning. You don't need your windows cleaned all the time, but he's going to call you one day when you do need your windows cleaned. Right. And you're oh yeah, he's been calling me for 2 years. I'm going to give him to this one.
Absolutely. And that's where it's the frequency of repetition that I talked about, kind of being in their aura, in their orbit somewhere along the way. And when they do need you, they think of you. We don't buy a brand new car all the time, but we're constantly being marketed to in some kind of capacity around a car or a brand or something. And then when that need comes about, that's the brand or something that you maybe think about, or maybe if if you're into that kind of thing, like women in the room, maybe if you have like a wedding dress, it's like you're only hopefully wear one once. At all.
Give it all.
If at all. I do wedding dresses, but you know, but then you kind of you're really into it at that moment, and then you don't think about it very much anymore. But I guess if you had to like, oh, I'm into the wedding dress, you kind of have a sense of like which stores you might want to go to or something. Maybe it's not the best analogy, but that kind of idea. So just continue on doing your thing, and then make sure you put them in your database. Otherwise, they are lost forever, and you are lost to them forever.
Mhm.
How confident are you that you can find enough leads to meet your goals, and what do you think has to change in order for you looking for leads? What are you currently doing to find leads? Don't need to single you out, but just share if you want to share.
Yeah, I do door knocking,
Okay, good.
and you know, you can only door knock like so many homes in a day. So when it comes to this question exactly, like what can I do to increase? Because I'm not doing like Instagram or Facebook that much. Hopefully in the future, but for now.
So how many are you door knocking for the amount of time, or are you door knocking doors? Like I do 100 doors, or I do 2 hours a time, or how is your?
Unfortunately, I'm not consistent that I have time or doors yet. But I try to do that 2 hours a day.
Okay, good. Yeah, like I said, like I think the two downfalls for any agent is scheduling, time blocking, and follow-up. Right. So if you put those 2 things to your door knocking and you committed to scheduling like 2 hours a day, because I already said try. So if you did it 2 hours a day for sure, and you followed up every single day, all the time with these people that you met, you put into your database, if you can get their contact information, which is always a challenge too. For sure, you have some business in there. I mean, door knocking is in your neighborhood, a specific neighborhood.
So currently I have a client that she wants to purchase a house in a particular neighborhood, and I started with that neighborhood. It's not my neighborhood, it is just started like that. And I am planning to just keep going the same neighborhood because I already invested in time.
Right.
And,
Okay, good. I think it's important for you to maybe come up like maybe for November, because that's business planning time, right? So for 2024, you're like, this is my goal for 2024 to knock on these doors 6 times a year, and to drop off something of value twice a year, and to and to maybe do something. Maybe there's they have a street party, or you sponsor something on their street party, or you bring coffee or donuts, or something that is part of your marketing industry, and start building out your little farm area so people get to know you. Yeah, again, I don't want to get too, I think just David's over here too, so like it's just too off topic, but you can even consider making like a Facebook page that's for that specific area, that specific community, if there's not one already. It's yeah. I mean, I started a Facebook page for Riverdale a while ago, like probably 7 years ago. We didn't have one, and we have I think almost 4,000 people now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so it's really great to like bring in the community.
Yeah.
And you think no one really knows about you, but every time we knock on the people's doors, like everyone's like, oh yeah, we're on a Facebook page. Like, people do know, right?
Mhm.
And Nicole now, the girl on my team, she door knocks. I don't door knock so much anymore. She does. And she, like every other door, they'll be like, oh my God, like they know the brand, right? They know the name and from doing the consistency, right? All right. The 80-20 principle, I think everybody knows about the 80-20 principle, right? Focus on the 20% of the things that give you 80% of your results, right? So the things that you work best at, like OB, the thing that you work best at is when you meet with people face to face, go for coffee, that stuff works for you.
I what I discovered lately is like if I take buyers, let's say long trips, and
Take buyers on long trips.
Everybody's pretty much outpriced of Toronto, some of the buyers, right? So I go to Innisfail, Uxbridge, Stouffville, whatever.
Oh, I see. I think
I think- So I need to build sometimes a schedule after 2 homes, take them to Tim Hortons, treat them with something. I'm gonna spend $15-20, not gonna break the bank. Their mood changes, they feel valued, they feel we're part of the team. I'd rather spend my time providing the kind of service than being on my monkey device trying to impress people that don't care about me, right? So
Yeah, and I mean that like that's like you're satisfied with your business right
Yeah.
now, right? Yeah, like I think that's a business that works for you and you're satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Like you're happy to do with, yeah. And I think if, again, to what I said before, if you were in a place where you wanted to grow your business, maybe there needs to be a shift.
I will door knock for sure. So now I need to leave Sunday for a month in Romania, but when I come back, I was planning to actually door knocking now, but the weather's too nice not to be at the beach.
Right.
So, but I'm planning on door knocking in 2 areas, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Great. And of course, time blocking, which is everyone's. So here we go. The biggest rocks are going to be your 20% that going to cause to have 80% of your biggest results. Yeah, it's so interesting. Does anyone want to comment on that? Like about like what 20% things that you do that make your biggest results? Again, like you haven't been actively working yet, right? So there's nothing. But just here, like in terms of the business that you've done this year, where did you get the majority of your business from?
All referrals, but I've 13 years, right?
Yeah,
So, but
And do you do something to generate those referrals, or they just come on their own?
I have a farm that I get some referrals from, and then I guess just, I don't know, keeping in touch with past clients on a regular basis or friends or family.
Do you reward them afterwards when they refer you?
I like a gift certificate.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll take them out for dinner. But I haven't, I mean, so when I was starting out, I did a lot of open houses. This office was very small. Mike Clark had a big team that they always had so many open houses. And for the first couple of years, I think I was doing open houses almost every other weekend, and then slowly kind of built up from there. And then of course the friend or family throws something at you. And, but yeah, you have to, it's the lead gen, and now like door knocking. And so I've been farming the same neighborhood for 7 years now, consistently every month. I have a newsletter. So, yeah, that, but but I do a lot of paper shuffling, you know, like, well, because again, like if I have better systems, and it is just me that like sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I was so busy. What did I do? And I was in my home office the entire day. But I think because I don't have all these systems, it takes me longer to do follow up and to, you know, kind of find that thing. So,
yeah. No, it definitely, I mean, would you ever consider, I know we're talking about shifting and leveraging.
Yeah.
About a VA and stuff?
No, I think the first thing I need to do, perhaps. But the first thing I need to do is have my own better systems. It's ridiculous, even if it's just command.
Yeah.
But I think it works for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
What worked for me is like I always send something to MailChimp. Even if I don't have a listing, I'll say, can I be of any help or something? And then I think the husband unsubscribed. He was not a great client 5-10 years ago. I wasn't happy, but the wife stayed there. And then she said, why don't you go copy? So I had this listing in Collingwood. And then another guy another guy that was following up for 2 years. You should sell one of those 2 ownerships and buy a normal house. You can be there with your daughter in a whatever townhouse, ownership townhouse, right? And so, oh, yeah, environment is crazy. So let's go. Let's sell. So that was a double transaction, selling under 800 by more than 1.2. And those guys in calling the $1 million transaction, he referred me a guy that was 2.2 million, 2.2, and then I double ended that. And the trick for that was, let's just say your friend, I'm going to give them a free home evaluation. I'm going to explain the process, and there will be no paperwork to sign. They don't feel afraid. I'm not bringing any paperwork. So, and then he had the courage of actually promoting it. He said, look, it's nothing threatening for you to see Obi there. And he did a great job for me.
So you would say your 20%, like your rock was?
My rock was saying the right things at the right moment. I think that's where it comes.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
I would actually very much agree with this because like different types of clients choose you, right? So I had a referral and it was a girl and she was like EC childhood education.
Yeah.
So she was like a newborn and a baby in a 1-bed condo with a husband. So, but she lived in like Rosedale. So everyone was like, she tried like 4 or 5 realtors. They're like, sorry, try again in 10 years. So I was like, you know what? Like someone reached out and I helped her. And I drove to Peterborough because literally you can't find a 2-story home for less than 500K. And I locked something in. So all the people she babysat for, they were like the news anchors for Toronto.
Oh,
So the
great.
referrals came in, but those people obviously, I didn't have my marketing. I didn't have like but the fact that they came, I was very grateful. So
Yeah.
to Ovi's point, like she was so like happy to leave a 1-bed condo in the
Right,
city with
right.
2 kids and a work from home husband that she
No,
would
and
like
the value
spread
of-
it like wildfire.
Right,
And
so-
also what you did with Elizabeth, like that was incredible value, really. So she probably tells everybody she meets.
Yeah.
She
I think
was
she does.
amazing.
And I think, yeah, you cannot give enough to the value of being able to make a contact and connect with somebody in that kind of way. And if you were getting those kind of referrals and people were connecting with you, maybe you don't have your marketing, but like other people in the office too, you could have easily just partnered up with.
Which that is like stupid of me because I was like, okay,
Yeah,
like yeah.
it's learning.
Like she was just like, oh, I know her really well and this and that. And she's like, just go. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. But if you're like presenting for like a $3 million house, they're very like high D as whatever we would say, or
Yeah.
like, what is that? They want
Yeah.
a plan, what you're going to do. Like they
Sure.
want it all laid out. Right?
But don't forget again,
Yeah.
getting back to leverage, right? Because
Yes.
this is the thing, we're in a shift and we need to, whatever, you may not have all your writing and marketing and spend $100,000 on all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you can lean on somebody here in the office who's done all of that and go in as, this is my business partner.
Which I didn't do. So that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
leveraging
good
goes
to know.
both ways, up and down.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's, absolutely, right? Because there's a lot of, honestly, like, when you're first starting in business, like, you're gonna be hopefully, more high energy, and you're gonna connect with a lot of people. But yes, you're right, and that's why I think it's also good to join a team, right? Because then you're gonna be on a team and presenting their brand, right? So, and I mean, as a person who has a team, I think I kind of said the $100,000 number just a few minutes ago, but I probably have spent $500,000 in marketing over the course of my business career, right? So, and I've spent a lot of money on that, and I get the results back from it. I think so. You're not going to be spending that right now, but you can actually, as I said, connect with somebody, or be on a team, or just leverage other people around you. Because at the end of the day, the client just wants to work with somebody they know, like, and trust, right? They kind of feel like they need to have all those things, but and I think they do. Especially now in the market where we're in a buyer's market, you've got to make your house shine like you've never done before. Like I'm seeing even now, way more people like doing like agent open houses again, which we haven't done in forever. It was like, yeah, why bother doing an agent open house? It's gonna sell before it even gets to there with a one day on the market bully offer. Now we can be a little bit more creative on promoting our houses and getting eyeballs on it. Right? So yeah, I think that anything you can do to kind of promote, do all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, like you just identified, making that connection and having that contact is the supreme.
Yeah.
So
And
congrats.
I did that, but I did it to help her because my friend reached out and she's like, oh, I have this friend and she's really going through it with COVID, right? So
Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you this also a quick little story because Candace, there was a set of clients of mine who we had purchased the house on the market. And I thought the market would sell no problem, and it sat. And it was so stressful to me and to them because it was mainly stressful to them, also stressful to me that they had to have a sale on their property in order to close on that property. Otherwise, And I actually was on vacation. I was calling Candace I was in Mexico. I was like, I need a plan to get, and she's like, okay, it's going to happen. And like, look how wonderful you are. The fact that you actually care. Most realtors would be like, I don't give a shit that this is kind of whatever. I don't care that you're losing sleep at night. Whatever.
Your problem.
Yeah. And like Candace told me, like the week afterwards, she was running an open house, or she was supposed to run an open house, and somebody else was supposed to run it for her. She went there first to make sure that it was all okay. And she would call me from it because we were talking on the phone. She was like half in the pocket, just like, oh my God, Suzanne. I just went to go like get this open house ready to go for this other agent who could call me saying they were going to be late. So I went to go make sure they were okay. And there was a leak in the basement or something had happened. Something fell over in the basement, whatever. She goes, but I couldn't find anything to clean it up with. It was just water. But she was like, there were towels there, but I never used the towels. So I went in the room. She goes, I took my shirt off my back, her t-shirt, and used it to clean up all the water. And she had a raincoat on. So like I said, it was raining. She had a raincoat on top of my bra. I'm like, oh my God. And she goes,
wow.
yeah, she goes, I just didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to worry because the open house is about to start. So I took my shirt home and I washed it and like it's just kind of like, yeah, these are the kinds of things that you do because we're solid people doing solid things for people, There are two kinds of real estate agents, right? They're the ones who are focused on transactions, the transactional agents, like Frank Leo, right? He's a transactional agent, right? He doesn't even do that with real estate.
Yeah.
He's got a business model where
Yeah.
he gets all his people to do all that, and then he grows himself as the agent of his own agent. And then there are people who are relationship building agents. So there are some people who will go all about like, I just did 79 transactions this year. I did sold up over 1 point blah, blah, blah. I did da, da, da. There are a bunch of agents who are going to do that, and some people are going to be really attracted to that. And then some people are going to be really attracted to people who take care of them. There's many different people in this world. Go after the ones that make most sense for you. Can't have all the clients all the time. And not everyone's going to love you, but the ones who love you are going to love you a lot. And yeah, there's a lot of agents out there, but a lot of clients out there too. We just have to find them and find the motivator. Yeah.
Well, in this shift, don't you think, and especially with all these Ds, more the relationship agent who is gonna
Absolutely.
do well?
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think having the combination of, staying in touch with people, being there, adding value, also having marketing and all the work that you're putting towards that. Those are the people who are going to, like, okay, right now, there may be less transactions to get, right? Because right now, bless you, we're in like September 21. Normally the market's booming right now. It's relatively quiet. It's quiet. I mean, there's things on, whatever. But things are taking longer to sell. Every day I open up my, Stratus and I see like price change.
Price improvement.
Yeah, improvement. Improvements. Anyway, so okay.
Well, that's it. Like the business has dropped in half, transactions have dropped in half. You need to double your prospecting.
Absolutely.
And prospecting also includes follow-up.
Do you
That's
think
right.
it's a bit of a reset in the industry? Because I understand that right now there's so many lawsuits going on with respect to paperwork not being done properly, and just because everything was just like crazy and run.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's in a sense, as an agent, you have to look at it in a more positive note where you can actually like do a good job for your clients also, rather than, or you don't think so? Rather than when it was crazy where there'd be like 20 offers on a house and people are throwing out conditions, and it was like, and paperwork wasn't being done fast enough because things were flying. And then now it seems to be, I understand there's a lot of litigation going on right now.
I haven't heard that. That's what I kind of like.
I don't know.
I haven't heard that. And that may be possible. I mean, there's a group that I'm on, Real Estate Hacks.
Yeah, that's where it had that.
I didn't read that today. I don't know if you read that recently.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago.
Okay.
That, there's that legal guy,
Sean, Marion?
him or that LeBeau.
Oh, Barry?
Or yeah, or that's Sandra.
Yeah,
They're always talking about that, right? And he said that he's never seen so much as
Interesting. I have to
in
go
the
back to look at
past.
that, right? And I'm not,
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't be surprised because of course there's some buyers and sellers who are pissed right now.
Right. Well, because there's those agents that just got in and then they're just doing quick. They're no longer in the business, right?
No, and I think it's really great that we're at an office right now that honestly, like, you know, you guys are gonna get to that place, but like you hand in paperwork that's not okay, you're gonna hear about it in like 1 second.
Mhm.
It's gonna come back to you.
Yeah, but not everybody's like that. Some people
No.
come from like an office I came from, right?
Right.
It's
No,
very
100%.
small.
And I think that's the other thing too, that clients don't understand. Like, okay, so I just want to look at the time. We're at 1 o'clock, so we'll continue on, but let's walk away with what we don't have good time. But I think that, you know, as a consumer, if you're not in real estate, we're all in real estate. We do this stuff every day, all the time. We're constantly talking about it. It's like my life. And well, I'm just shocked sometimes with some of my friends who are not in the business. Will be like, "Oh my God, this agent knocked on the door and said he's got a buyer for my house," and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're gonna pay all cash." I'm like, "You kidding me?" It's like, yeah, I'm like, that's a marketing line. That's like, you know, I feel like, so I feel like the consumer oftentimes thinks we're all the same.
Mhm.
We're all the same. We're just basically like, it's like, you know, you're a sweater, you're a sweater, you're a sweater, you're a sweater, you're an apple, it's all, we're all the same. And, right? And I feel like it's like, it's our job to educate the public, to let them know that we're not all the same. Like, for example, I know some agents, right, because they were in the business, who are, for all intents and purposes, retired.
Yeah.
They're 75, they're retired, they haven't done a single transaction for 18 months.
I've done something in 20 years.
Oh, well, okay. That's right, but, you know, but.
Or yeah, they're part-time.
Right, or part-time, and then I'm like, but how would they possibly know what's going on in the law?
Yeah.
In the market and the data and in, like, you know, ChatGPT, like all, like there's so much, right? So many agents, and again, like I'm just saying, but as you I'm sure know, and we'll see even more, real estate today is very little, nothing to do with what happened 20 years ago. That was a very different way of doing real estate, right? In all kinds of capacities, with all kinds of technology, and all kinds of ways that we can offer to each other. So yeah, I just feel like even now it's even more to be able to, you know, divide ourselves out and to kind of let the general public know this is, you know, I'm at Keller Williams now. Keller Williams does this, that, the other thing. If that's what you said.
I think there's buyers and sellers out there also who are just choosing their realtor because it's a friend or a family. Like they're part-time, they do 2 deals a year. And so maybe they're the ones who don't know the paperwork. They don't know the legalities. They don't know, hey, you're not doing a home inspection.
Absolutely.
Like these are the risks. And
And you guys, when you have a listing, do you have someone else read your listing?
Someone else could, what do you mean?
Like, let's
Like
say
a
you-
legal team
that-
you're
that-
talking about.
Say again?
You're talking about like a legal team or something.
No, just like proofread.
Like a set of eyes on
Yeah,
your stuff.
proofread, you know, where you have down at the bottom the description.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
I see, sorry,
You
I
say
see a
something.
lot of stuff that I could, you know, put
I'm
into the
crazy,
soup.
but this is 100%. No, I see that all the time too, and I'm like, what the heck is that? But you know, same as like, you know, staging. Like I'm gonna just say it. Like I invest and spend a lot of time. Staging to me is also marketing,
That's
right? So our goal on our team for every listing that we have is to get 2 more pieces of business. And I want the staging to look amazing. So I want the photography to look amazing because I use the photography in many different capacities moving forward for all of our marketing, for our website, for all of our stuff, right? It's all part of our branding. The general consumer doesn't know. They think staging is staging. I don't know that like this is an occasional chair, right? Versus a beautiful something that comes from the, like whatever. They're just going, oh, you're gonna get a chair. Here's your chair. Like they don't know the difference, right? So it's our job to make sure that people understand it.
When it comes to staging, I feel like I'm in the same house again. I go so many houses. It's the same furniture.
Yeah, and again, so I would say this. I'm gonna go off this because
You know, we
even
made a mistake.
outdated styles of, yeah.
We had an
Oh,
appraiser
it's
fired
weird.
one time.
Oh, David, you're still here. Okay, I thought you were gone, which I don't blame you if you were in New York City for stuff. But no, but I think also what happens is that a lot of people, and I use this to my advantage to be perfectly honest, because we don't have our own staging stuff. I looked into it. It just many of the levels didn't make sense. But I also kind of was like, yeah, we do all kinds of properties. We do newer homes and older homes and vintage homes and condos and townhomes and West End and East End. All are the exact same furniture doesn't go in all those homes, the different styles of homes. So basically, I've told clients, checks that are a lot of agents who do have their own staging, they'll say, oh, that's our benefit, we do have our own staging. And I'll say, yeah, but you know, many times buyers will call me and say, wasn't that house just on the market? I'm like, no, it's the same stuff, but a different house, right? Anyway, okay, what are you guys thinking? It's already, we can continue on, but I feel like I could share some lead gen stuff with you. And everyone's here except for you, David, which I'm so happy you're here. I think
We had a carpool, David. I would have picked you up.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna come in. Maybe I should have come in. My
Well,
bad.
that's okay. Okay, next time definitely come in. People to people is always more fun, and plus you miss desserts.
I'll come over now.
Okay, no problem. And I was trying to think if there's something that really like stood out to me when I did all this stuff, and I can't think of one in particular. Oh, okay. What do you guys think?
I missed it. What do you use for CRM? Do you use
So
White Box
yeah.
or-
So I use Follow Up Boss, which I love. Carlos isn't here. Maybe he's listening. So I have I'm in a program called 7FA, which is, I don't know if anyone's heard of somebody in Jesslyn Laval.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been in Jesslyn's coaching for a while. And basically and again, there's all different kinds of ways of making your business happen and creating business, etc. But she does it all through social media.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific, we should call it like a psychological plan through social media. So there's a ton of people, like there's so much to know, but honestly, like, you know, just listen to Just Sold, things that are, have no like feedback or no, with no one commenting or saying anything, there's no interaction. Like Instagram is a very sophisticated algorithm that basically just pushes all this content away, so it doesn't push it in front of people to begin with at all. And people have like, you know, fake accounts with the fake bots, and they've got 10,000 people, but they actually really only have 300. Like it's very sophisticated in what they do. And she teaches a way to actually have this like psychological journey with a buyer that is more than just. In fact, she says to not ever post just souls, because the consumer doesn't care about it, really. They really don't. They want to know if they like you. That's the whole point of what she teaches, and let's go if you provide value to them. Because people generally want to work with people they like. But like on occasion, they work with people they can't stand because they think that that's the only person. Like, I don't know. Like there are going to be some consumers who will like work with like a Frank Leo. Right, because
only to say that they worked with him. Like there's those people too.
No,
right?
because I think that there are some. I don't know how you would personally exactly describe it, but some consumers who are like, yeah, I see his signs everywhere. I see his face everywhere. I guess he's the person to call. Right, because maybe they're not on social media, or they're not that, which is of course fine, right? There's going to be people who are like that.
Scott McGilvery's promoting him.
Maybe
right?
Because they're not particularly savvy. Like if you look at his portfolio of business, they're not like in Riverdale, right, where I work. I don't think I've ever seen a Frank Leo sign.
Oh, stop talking about that.
Is it funny you?
He doesn't show up for offers presentations. He's on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, listen, everyone does their own thing. I'm not saying it's really a negative thing, because I'm not a negative person in that kind of way. But there are different kinds, and there are different kinds of people who want something different from. Some people want to be so totally handheld the entire experience. Some people want to be completely hands off. some people, you may notice or probably do, maybe it's I don't know, but like, that I call it like my big fat Greek wedding thing. Did you see the movie?
Of course.
Right.
That's my life, actually. My husband is Ian.
Oh, okay. So to me,
Oh,
it's sort of
wait,
like,
that's
to me, it's sort of like, yeah, you want someone, someone wants you to do something, but they want to be like, they want to be in control of it, but they want it to make it seem as though it's their own idea, but they actually like, you have to kind of wait till they can kind of say, oh, this is what was my idea, but it's actually you're putting your idea into them. And there's like so many different client profiles, right?
Mhm.
And so again, we can't have them all, we can't attract them all, they can't all be attracted to us. But I think that yeah, I can't remember exactly where it's to.
Well, he used to spend
Oh, we're
so
talking
much
about
money.
your CRM.
Yeah, but yeah, we got to a CRM.
He probably has to spend so much money on marketing because I can't imagine he gets a lot of repeat business.
Yeah, so I can't remember, but like of course he does like obviously the billboards,
And the TV commercials,
right?
yeah.
Like again, it's a totally different business model. That's completely like there's like let's just say $1 million is spent on marketing, right? And then he gets in all these leads, and then he has all these agents that have like not great split.
Mm.
And that sort of that's his business model.
Oh,
So
I-
nobody generally. Frankly, doesn't come to your house and people listen to presentations. It's other people who are on his team. It's a brand.
I remember years ago, he used to have full page ads in the newspaper, right?
Yeah.
So like in the Toronto Sun and stuff like that, right? Like when no one was doing that.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, it's a completely different business model. And there are many different business models. I'm sure maybe a lot of you have heard or seen like Carol Fodder, right? Who does like her business model is mainly doing client events. So she'll spend a ton of money and a ton of time doing 5 or 6 banger client events a year. I think that's great. That's a great business model too, right? And that's maybe where you could try to scale your business. And instead of doing a one-on-one lunch, that you do a luncheon with 20 people.
Beach day.
Parties.
Beach
It's
party.
Yeah,
It's
volley-
a-
yeah, volleyball and
Well, it's hard on night rich, no coffee, no alcohol, like.
you don't have to drink and eat.
Just water. Just bring water.
That's plain water.
No meat, no fish. Like, come on,
Local fast with Obi.
water fasting.
But if you like go to like more wellness events, there's a whole demographic
Yeah.
that they don't drink. Don't.
No, they
For
just
sure,
say,
that got also
Yeah, other
got-
shit. There's
I
no
think-
drinking, nothing. Yeah.
I think right now more than anything too, I mean, the other piece too is that door knocking is great. I think door knocking is great. We should absolutely continue door knocking. It's wonderful. But the greatest leads that we can have right now are buyer leads. Because there's opportunities for buyers right now. And it's like listings are taking a lot longer and a lot more expensive to have, whereas buyers in general take more of your time, but generally don't cost you anything. So, how can you find more buyers? I think that's also like how do you find we're finding more buyers because we have a very specific advertising campaign that we have, which is essentially, and I can kind of give you a basic idea of it, but we do content online and we create something that's called retargeting, right? So we have like what's called an omni funnel, but we prepare all this content, then we post Facebook ads. Every lead that we get is captured through Facebook with their name and email address. They go onto an automated email campaign that goes on for almost a year. It starts off with the first 30 days, then goes on to 6 months, then goes on to a year. At the same time, they get captured sounds like a weird word, but they get connected to what's called our omni funnel, and then they start to see all of our content on social media.
just through the regular feed.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
So, and so by the time we call them, well, we'll call them right away, but by the time if we don't get them, that's fine. But by the time we call them and we do connect with them, they already have seen me talking, they see my face, they see the Nicole, they
Feel like they know you already.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we follow up with leads. It's not like, yeah, fuck you. Now it's just like, hey, Suzanne. Like it's very different. The experience is very different.
Do you find those buyers, then are they first time buyer? Like they're not selling anything?
It depends what kind of leads we're doing, right? So in
Right.
general, we'll do, it depends what kind of leads we're doing. So we do what's called hot sheets. So right now, for example, we're doing we just stopped it yesterday, because we, again, in terms of like leverage, in terms of shifting, we watch our cost per lead. So when it gets over a certain amount, we shut it off. But we do hot sheets. And right now, for example, we're doing like 3-bedroom homes under $1 million that just had a recent price reduction. Right? So people are like, oh, and then they get that whole list, which is up to date, like up to the minute list. And those are, and we do a lot of A/B testing, right? And so we do a lot of like tweaking of the content, tweaking of the subject line, tweaking of image. And we did some, you have to watch them, right? So we did some that were like, hey, first time home buyers, or maybe we even said like, hey, renters, now's a great time for you to jump into the market. And then of course you're gonna get Toronto, for God's sakes, like so much backlash.
Yeah.
Right? So people are like, oh my God, it's really cool. But most people are like, this, whatever. The market sucks. Realtors are the devil. Stuff like that. So then we'll just, shut that off, and we'll start up again.
It's kind of funny, but prices are finally going to be dropping to that's what everyone wanted. Or it was unaffordable, but they're only dropping because the interest rates are higher. So it's like, well, now they still can't afford them.
Yeah,
A lot
and then
of people,
there's obviously and then their rental market's really high. It's tough. It's a challenge, right? And we talk about that too, like other ways in which to crack into the market. And I've got a whole series of other ways in which you can try to crack into the market as a first-time home buyer. But yeah, that's sort of what we do to generate our leads in general about that, and open houses, which are always like our number ones, because you get to meet people face to face. And Nicole, again, who works with me, is like amazing. People just like gravitate to her.
Oh, she's got a great personality. I've met her a couple of times.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah.
People are just like, oh, they love her. She does really, really well in open houses, and then she still does door knocking and stuff. Way sweet. And then of course we nurture our past clients, and we have a lot of those.
How many people in your team?
Just Nicole and I, and then Laura.
And you have an admin assistant?
Yeah, so Laura's our admin and marketing person. She's been with me full time. She's coming up to year 3. She's brilliant. She's basically like everything. She's awesome. Like she's really like, she's such a gem.
And you have a strong marketing background as well, so that
again, like
Yeah.
I said, like I consider myself a beauty marketer.
Yeah.
Marketing real estate. I could have marketed, cars or pets or
Yeah.
whatever. I just am really passionate about real estate,
Mhm,
and I just really love it, and I find it like just most days are really great. Some days are really frustrating. That's just the way it is, right?
your social media is amazing, Suzanne. Like,
I
like
check it
it's
out.
following you for a couple of years, and even in the past year,
And that's the program. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not the program, it's obviously me.
especially you know what? Like,
now.
yeah, it's just
Is it on?
but I love your
It's Lewis and Company.
just talking about. I don't know, 3 things that stressed me out this morning, like it just kind of random, and then people are getting to know you.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah,
And
we
that
know you
is
sell
really
houses,
me,
yeah,
right? Like, that's really me, just saying really things. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
really dress myself up in a gown or do anything,
No,
whatever. I just
no.
kind of
Or it's not all touring houses. I just sold this. It's more about you and Nicole, and
yeah.
No, you do a
No,
great
it's
job.
really great. And we get people like, I think what's interesting is that also people connect with us. When we do reach out to them, they kind of already know us, right? So that's also really, really nice too.
You said you like wedding dresses.
I don't. No.
Oh, you don't?
No, I
Or, no, I misunderstood you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like wedding dresses. I just think I think weddings are dumb. I think weddings, I don't know.
Spend your money on it.
I think marriage is dumb. Yes, my house is dumb. I mean, I'm married, but it's dumb. It's a I love my husband. We just got tattooed.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh,
what does it say?
It just says love, but
Oh.
it's handwriting.
Oh.
And it was our anniversary like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, let's go get tattoos." I'm like, "What?" Anyway, he laughed like 5 times. I was like, "Fine."
That's a great wedding or engagement gift or
Yeah.
engagement.
Anniversary.
Remember.
We won't forget. Listen, I'm already way over time.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Great.
I don't know if David's still there. It's probably like done now. I could always come back and we could talk a little bit more about, but I think I probably gave you guys more value.
Yeah.
And added some of the
No,
things that sometimes
that's
it's good in the
fantastic.
book, right?
Yeah.
Like I think, but if you guys ever have any questions or want to talk to me about anything or ask me any questions and the course that I did about content, it's called the Listings Lab. Sue's done it.
I've got the printout for it. I've never done it. And did you do it in person with her?
No, it's
just-
not in person. It's all online.
It's all online. Okay.
It's all online.
I'm sorry, what is it? The
It's
listing?
called the
Listings
Listings
Lab.
Lab. It's I think I'm making it now. Whatever. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, I really I was grateful to have Gloria help me through it because it's a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh, I don't understand that. But it is very powerful.
And what about the other one? Have you thought about doing the more listings, the ML? I forget what it is now.
7FA.
No.
More Money Less Hustle.
Yes.
It's her book.
Yeah. But does she not have a training on that also, or she just presents it?
She just presents it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've listened to her book. I'm an Audible person. Because I was going for walks. Whatever. It's great. It's great. She's great. Like Jess is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's really like to the point. And
Oh, it's
because I
very-
follow her on Instagram, right? And so yeah, she's very to the point, and the way she speaks is this she's talking to you and she's your friend, right?
Right. Well,
But-
this is the psychological journey that she talks about. People feel like, it's funny because it's like, I remember thinking, I've never met Beyonce or Tony Robbins. And you kind of feel like you know them so many times.
Right.
You're like, that kind of have sense. Like Tony's tall and he's got a wife and he's this and he talks this way. It's the sound of his voice and this, whatever. Same with Beyonce. But I don't know them.
But your coaching with her, has it been just virtual or is it in person with her?
It's virtual. It's all virtual. Here,
Or is that the way coaching works?
that's the way her coaching works. Because she has, it's not really coaching with her, it's her program and learning her system.
Right.
I'm in another program called 7FA, which is seven figure agent. And it's done through a series of different coaches in different pillars of what they teach. Like they teach systems, they teach team building, they teach marketing. It's pretty intense. But the Listings Lab stuff, this social media stuff, is on a smaller level course called the Listings Lab.
Yeah, but she wants to deal with, agents going beyond 6 figures to beyond. That's her
Yes.
course, right?
Yes.
So-
But the Listings Lab is marketing. It's the marketing that she teaches. It's called Listings Lab. It's actually like marketing. And I mean, anyone who's taken.
Yeah, I had asked for her to send it. She sent it to me, the booklet for it. It's
Right.
but I'm sure it's a very small, like overview of what the program is.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, it's guys doing really
well, that's
great.
good to know that you're.
Thank you.
good.
You're so welcome. Robert.
Very nice to meet you. I
Nice
appreciate
to meet you
it.
too. Yeah.
So who
Right,
should
well,
I
thank
follow?
you
on-
again.
You're so welcome.
Take care.
Who should I follow on social media?
Me
Yeah, I already do.
and Jess.
How are you?
Jess.
Jess and Linda.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Different agents that you last experienced.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Carrot, yeah.
What's his
Oh, it says I'm following.
Jess
Ah.
Lenouvelle.
Let me see on my.
Lenouvelle. You already
I don't
followed her?
know. That sounds very familiar.
But I don't get the
Yeah.
posts, but it's the algorithm.
But
right?
that's the thing. It's the algorithm.
I know, I gotta like her a bit.
Yeah. You have to like some things.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Oh, I recognize her.